Our Father, we're very thankful for you tonight, for your goodness to us, for the grace and mercy that you showed us in life, and we're very aware of your holiness and your righteousness and aware of our weakness before you. And Lord, we therefore must submit our will to yours and help us to do that tonight. We pray your blessings and your guidance as the city business is done here by this council and the mayor. We pray for the department heads and all that participate here tonight, Lord. We thank you for men and women that are willing to serve, and Lord, we just ask that you bless them in that service. And Lord, be one with us tonight as we do this business. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, if I can, before everybody sits down, I know we like to follow the agenda, but if I can, this is National Police Week, and if I can have a moment of prayer, a moment of silence, please, for the men and women of law enforcement who has paid the ultimate sacrifice, if I could respectfully ask that. Thank you.
In the package of minutes from the August 18th meeting. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Motion second. Any discussion, changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This time we will have a public hearing for sales tax allocation for the upcoming year. Excuse me. Anyone would like to address the council on this matter?
My name is Melissa Combs. I represent Kennett Chamber of Commerce. Tonight we would like to ask the council to renew our annual contract in the amount of $25,000 in exchange for treasury and marketing services. Thank you.
Do we need a motion on it?
No, we don't do anything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Assumption? Anyone else in the audience? Laura, would you like to speak this time?
This is where I need to. Okay. All right. I'm Laura Ford, and of course I'm with the Kennett Senior Nutrition Center. The last time we met, Councilman Palmer had stated that a list would be provided of the areas that needed drainage repairs throughout the city, as well as an approximation of the cost of those areas. And I just spoke with him, and he said that he would get me that list. I also know that the council has discussed the possibility of a 10-year, I think they call it a sunset clause, to be tied into the initiative. But by doing that, you also tie that into the senior center as well. The center it needs the city's help through the tax to help pay the basic bills for the center, such as the electric, the gas, the maintenance, and support for new programs that are within it. So we, the seniors, have some concerns, okay, when it comes to this. I'm from the old school, where my word is my bond, okay? And as we campaign, people know where our portion of those tax dollars are going. And for what? Because they can see it, and we've laid it out to them before, and many times. And in fact, of course, they voted for it in November, for that 1/8 for us. However, this time, we don't only have to convince them to vote a second time on the initiative, but we also have to convince them to do it with the city attached. And that's with a promise that it'll go repair the drainage issues that cause the streets to flood and make them practically impassable. One good example is that 3rd Street, which of course has been closed for 3 years, and Kennett Street, St. Francis, are a few more that are just flooded. You can't get through them. And so those are all those that are in badly need of repair. So when I give the people my word, where the funds will be used to correct the problems, how do we know that it will be done expeditiously and efficiently? And who is overseeing the project?
I could answer that. First of all, the mayor and the council are overseeing it. And by state statute, this is on the ballot in that fashion. Those monies can only be expended for that.
Yeah, okay. So, you see, I have to make sure, because if you don't keep your word to me, that the drainage over the next 10 years will be repaired when the time is up, the people may not give my seniors another chance. And at the end of that 10 years, where will the money be for the senior? Where is it going to come, the seniors, where is it going to come from? So what I'm asking is all of you, is your word your bond?
Yes.
Yes.
It's kind of like how the transportation tax works. It's allocated for Randy Carter and transportation. I mean, we can't build a new city hall, we can't buy a police car.
Even if we
It's
wanted
that.
to, which we don't. Okay, and so then I can trust you that you'll say that you'll do, everything will be done in the best interest of all and not in just a select few when it comes to the streets.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know. When it comes to the sunset, that sunset clause, when it's over, like I said, we'll have to go back to the people in order to get them to redo it. Now, that leaves, once more, the center, you still have that state statute that states 1/8 cent cannot be put on the ballot with the statute. So what are we gonna do from there? I'm always looking to the future, because I'm looking at, if I'm not, where am I gonna be in 10 years? I'm gonna be one of them, okay? And I wanna make sure that, I have a place. But if we have to go through this, what are we being offered at the end of that 10 years? Because that 1/8 cent, it's still gonna have to be a 1/2. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
And those are that's a big concern
Sometimes you
for
gotta
me.
crawl before you walk. And we gotta get over this hurdle, or there won't be another hurdle in 10 years.
And look at it realistically, all the senior citizens sitting up here, but it'd be just strictly venturing a guess. I'm not sure any member sitting here will be sitting here in 10 years. I doubt it.
But we always have to,
It's
we
all
always,
it's all speculation. so-
yeah. But we always have to, you have to,
Youngster, excuse me.
when making decisions, you always have to look, for the decision I make today, how is it going to affect people 10 years from now?
Absolutely.
That's our
I think that's the
issue.
only reason that we're proposing this in the first place, is we're trying to move everything forward. And if the citizens see value in what we've done, then they'll readily redo it. It would be my,
I think exactly right, we stick by our word, and they say the improvement. You stick by your word and do the right thing with the center, then I'm sure there wouldn't be a problem.
Because I have heard also that citizens would prefer a sunset. And I was surprised to be hearing that much of it, but that's what we've had to deal with as well.
that makes everybody more accountable.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just wanted to make sure, because I did not want, because I'm representing seniors, and we've already been hit hard, and so I want to make sure that the decision that's made is one that's in their best interest.
I can only tell you the projects that we're gonna do are needed and visible, and that's what we're gonna try to do first. And I don't know where I'll be in 10 years. I don't know where I'll be in the next election. But the projects that we wanna have, we've gone through, we feel like they're good projects. People will know what we've done, and the evidence of what we've done with their money will be readily available. So
Because
I think it'll go well.
I'll need that, because when having to run this campaign, putting it together, I've run campaigns before, and I think that's why we had a very successful one the last time. And so, in order to get it, I need all of those details. Also, how many of you are going to be at the center on Thursday? I gave sent out my invitation. And,
I do apologize, I will be in Little Rock that day. I will be in Springfield.
I'll agree with that.
But I do ask that you request, that you do come out to the center and eat sometime to just see what we do and visit with the seniors. Because, you know, as they say, 77% of them are the ones who vote. They are your voting population. The young people these days are not, you know, they're not the ones who come out and everything. So, come out, talk to them, and let them know you. Let them see what you're doing, and, kind of talk to them about it, because you're gonna have to convince them too, okay? All right, thank you so very much.
I've got one question. We had asked to see the financial information for Oaks, and we haven't seen anything yet.
Now, what are you asking for?
We just want to see how the money will be spent from now
I
on.
don't, right now, we are just now putting together, I don't have any numbers, I can tell you where the money is going to go and what it's for. But right now, I haven't gotten to that point, because right now, we are putting together, when it comes down to it, I can show you every penny and I can show you how much. I'm getting bids right now on the building itself. I have to go to the electric company, the maintenance. I think everybody that I sent, I believe, I don't know which one I put in, but I put in a letter. I don't know if it was yours or whether it was the senators and everything, where it showed the different items that we're gonna need, because you're talking, we've gotta go to the electric company and find out about how much. From what I gather, it's gonna cost us anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000. That's putting your gas, water, and electric together in order to operate each month. I have to find out, I'm getting the numbers on, I've already started calling for the, pest control, maintenance. I'm having to find all of these, and some of those I have to get bids on. So as soon as I get it though, I will have it for you by that time, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've had quite a bit of conversation now, just to make sure we're boiling this down. You are saying
Go
go
ahead.
with the
Yeah.
sunset, okay? You wanna do the ordinance, Jim?
We can do it whenever.
We've got an ordinance, amending the
It's in your packet. And basically, it replaces the last ordinance. It's an ordinance imposing a sales tax of 1.5% and calling a special election in the city of Kennett, Missouri. On the question of whether to impose said sales tax and to designate 1/8 of said tax for the purpose of providing revenue to provide services for senior citizens, and to designate 3/8 to provide revenue for stormwater control, and further providing that said sales tax shall terminate automatically 10 years after the implementation thereof.
Motion.
Second.
all in favor, side.
Second reading, an ordinance imposing a sales tax of 1/2% and calling a special election in the city of Kennett, Missouri, on the question of whether to impose said sales tax and to designate 1/8% of said tax for the purpose of providing revenue to provide services for senior citizens, and to designate 3/8% to provide revenue for stormwater control, and further providing that said sales tax shall terminate automatically 10 years after the implementation thereof.
Motion.
Second.
There's some seconds, roll call.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Committee reports,
On the police committee, we did have a meeting last night. I think everything went great. I think we're heading in the right direction. And at this time, that's all I have for the public at this time.
street, street,
Nothing at this time.
finance,
We won't have anything tonight. Our next finance meeting will be Monday, the 22nd at 5:30. And we will be working on the budget.
All right.
Only thing I've got, we did receive bids on the demolition from Ross and Tommy Williams. Do we need to vote on that now?
For,
Or whoever's gonna
I know, but for what project?
Oh.
Yeah, you all had the meeting and you determined the other bid is what you were going to present to the council, wasn't it?
Yes, I mean, I can explain if you want.
Okay.
We received, they solicited bids to, for the next round of phase of demolition of derelict structures. In that bid was a commercial structure down here on St. Francis, right there behind the bank. The bids come in, and it was $60,000 to include that building. We don't have that money. There were some questions about the proposal. One part of it required, that was no liability on their part. It reverted back on the city, which our insurance carrier, Myrma, will not be happy for us to do. There were some other questions, so we kicked that part of it out. And there was two bids. One was for $24,000, and the other bid, and that was, I'd have to read the name on there.
What was Tommy Williams, when was David Ross?
Okay, Tommy Williams, and when we take the $37,000 out of there for the commercial structure, it's down to about $22,850. And I believe, is it 6 structures on there? And the money is in the economic development,
Clean up Kennett.
fund. So what we're proposing is to go ahead and start on those 6 structures, and we're gonna get with the property owners, the neighbor tenant, which is concerned. They own the building next to the one to be demolished, commercial building, and there's also another property owner to the other side of it. Get them and the main contractor all together, and the city engineer had Melvin Gerdell in there looking at it, where we can kind of discuss it and see what really needs to be done. And we may have to go back out and propose that building by itself next budget. It is a big concern.
It does have asbestos in it. and all that.
Well, I'm sure it does, AJ.
Yeah.
Top floor tile, if nothing else.
Yeah, they done a test on it.
Yeah.
It does.
So, and we gotta make sure that whoever does the abatement of the asbestos is also licensed or recognized by the state. You have to be licensed, I guess it is, from the state to test, and you have to be licensed to remove it. So those are things that need to be in that bid, and also we need to make sure that whoever bids it puts in there that where they have to buy a special coverage for that project, that it includes the city as a first on that liability clause. So if the wall next to the adjoining building comes in, we're protected. Otherwise, we're gonna be hanging out there and it's gonna be coming out of our back pocket, and Myrna's not gonna be real happy.
Yeah, I know that's one of the reasons why that was so high, is because of the asbestos.
So we'll be bringing that back, and we're gonna be setting up a meeting. The mayor asked me to set up a meeting and talk to Victor. We'll try to get it set up within the next 2 weeks or so to meet those property owners, discuss the issue, let them know what our plan of action is, and then we'll have to go back out after the new budget, if money's put aside to be able to bid. That very well could be one of the only projects we do, but it is close enough to the street and alleyway. People are back up and down through there. There's been kids playing in the alleyway back there. If you look behind the building of bricks, there's just no mortar. I don't know what's holding.
Yeah, I think that was brought up, it was just, it's gonna fall, just when
It's
this
just a matter of
question.
time. So that's where we are right now.
Who owns the building now?
I don't know their name. It's the individual that owns the tattoo parlor across the street, Sample.
Deborah Samples, I do believe.
David, her
That-
son.
okay.
He owns the building across the street, and his intent originally was to buy that and renovate it, but I think the building was too far weathered by then. Roofs fell in on it.
You want to make a motion on the other demolition?
Motion to accept David Ross's.
Right.
On the others, on the 6 properties.
Right.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Motion second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Move forward with those, and this other building will have to be probably number one priority as we get into next year.
Yeah,
It's got to come down.
I'm afraid there's a little more to it than just throwing out a big, some requirements in there. It's, you know, Paul, it's a hazard to the community. It's also, if we don't deal with it, probably be a hazard to our, interest as well.
Hard, let's say it.
Well, because that's,
No, that's a committee.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
that's,
anything else on that?
No,
Chamber?
I've got just a couple of things. The first thing is the Chamber Tourism Committee has received an application for tourism funds. The application comes from Kennett Alliance for the Arts to fund a portion of their annual Fall into Arts Festival. This year will take place in September. They've requested $5,000 and the Tourism Committee recommends an allocation of $5,000 from the Tourism Fund.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion second, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
The next thing I have is you've seen, down St. Francis and First Street, we've got the flags up. That's our annual project between the city, the chamber, and City Light Gas and Water. So that's well underway. City Light Gas and Water's done an excellent job of getting that done ahead of the Memorial Day holiday. The next thing I have is every year about this time, the chamber office starts to update the Missouri Travel Guide and visit mo.com. So I would like to encourage area businesses to look at their listing or lack thereof on visitmo.com and the Missouri Travel Guide and let me know of any changes that you like to have made. The individual businesses can make their own changes, but we offer to do that as part of our marketing and tourism work that we do for the city. So I can add any photos that you would like to have, hours of operation, menus, brochures. On some things I can add commercial videos, and we can also do those on our Visit Kennett website. So the state has not notified me that it's time to begin yet, but that usually takes place in the summertime. So if you have any listing changes you would like to see, please let me know. The next thing I have is Ride the Fault Line Bicycle Tour is coming through again on Tuesday, June 13th. They'll be staying overnight, and this year they've had a change of venue. They'll be staying at the Kennett Middle School Gymnasium, and they will be leaving out on Wednesday the 14th, sorry. Then the next thing we have is 100 Mile Yard Sale is quickly approaching. That's the annual event, and the chamber partners with Dexter and Jackson Chambers to promote that event. We have a website. You've seen probably the banners go up along Highway 25. We've got one in the chamber yard. So we like to remind citizens of Kennett that we will have lots of extra traffic in town that weekend. If you're thinking of having a yard sale, it's a great time, but just because that's 100 Mile Yard Sale weekend does not exempt them from their yard sale permit, so we still do remind them to visit City Hall and get a yard sale permit. It's $5, right? Will that cover them for the whole weekend? Or they have to get 2 of them for the whole 4 days?
It's 2 consecutive days for $5.
Yeah, so we